This is Histories and Mysteries. I'm Ashley.
I'm Jessica, and on this week's episode, Ashley is going to be talking about the murder of Phyllis Malone, and I am going to sort of be continuing my story from last week, but only in the sense that it's in Alaska.
Oh, okay. So no more otter man.
No more otter man that you like to think is nice and cuddly, you know.
He is nice and cuddly. I just know it.
He's not, but I'm going to be talking about Port Chatham. So it's a spooky town and
Ooh,
yeah, like a ghost town.
nice. Oh, I saved a town that I wanted to do that was like supposedly like so haunted the Pope won't even fly over it or something, and I keep forgetting to do that. So I'll do that.
Oh, yeah, I've totally heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Don't mind me. I'm just messing with my camera angle. There we go. Okay. Okay, so I watched this show called Southern Gothic,
Wow.
which was really cool. And it's I mean, the name is really cool. The show is decent. It's just like any other true crime show, but I really liked the name Southern Gothic. I thought that was a pretty cool name.
It's pretty cool.
So this is, like Jessica said, the murder of Phyllis Malone. And I guess I will just dive right in.
Okay. Rip off the Band-Aid.
Just rip it off. Let's go.
And I'll be fun afterwards.
Yes. All right. So September 9th, 2008 in Memphis, Tennessee, Tennessee, a delivery driver pulled up to a gas station to make a delivery, but there was a car in his way.
Sorry. The delivery man was making a delivery.
As soon as I read that line, I was like, Jessica's gonna give me shit for this. That's why I kept going. I was like, maybe I can just gloss over it.
You're not getting out that easy.
What was it that I said the other week that you made? Some skulls and faces, I think is what I said.
The faces and the skulls.
Yeah. Faces and skulls.
Skulls and faces and the skulls.
And the delivery driver making a delivery. Just, just make sure everybody's on the same page. So the delivery driver was about to make a delivery. But I all of a sudden heard my dog barking and my son chatting. And I was like, what is going on down there? So there was a car in his way, though, like where he would park his truck. There was a car there and he honked a few times and it didn't move. And he's like, what the hell is going on? Like, I need to do this so I can move on. So he finally got out of his car to go up to the window and be like, move your car. I got to make a delivery.
What? Correct me? Like, is the United States not the same as Canada in the sense of that, you can go in front of the car and park in front of it instead of like needing to get in a driveway?
Well, it was okay. So it was at a gas station. It was like the side of a gas station. So I don't think there was like room for him to go in front.
Okay.
And I think if he had parked behind her, he was like hanging out where like traffic would be coming.
Okay.
So, visualization. Gotcha. Yes, there you go.
Okay.
So he went up to tell the driver to move. And when he looked in the car, he saw a woman covered in blood. And she was unconscious as far as he could tell. He didn't know like if she was alive or not.
Oh, that was so traumatic.
I know.
Like you're getting like angry that somebody is not moving and then.
Yeah. So he immediately calls 911 and the officers arrive and they found 31-year-old Phyllis Malone sitting up with her head slumped over, dead. She had been shot 3 times.
And he didn't notice?
He saw the blood everywhere. I don't think he noticed. Because like one was in her head. So he probably noticed that one, I would think. But I'm sure he walked up, saw someone with blood all over them and didn't like look too hard. Although I would think that you would look to like see if you can help, like perform CPR or anything.
Or like help to identify who the victim is, like give a description.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Or,
know.
like you said, try and help them.
Yeah.
Like
And they didn't
what?
talk about that in the doc. Maybe he did, and they just glossed over it. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, she was shot 3 times. I think twice in the abdomen and once in the head.
Mm.
Phyllis was one of 8 kids. And unfortunately, her mother passed away when she was 5 of a brain aneurysm.
Oh.
And her mother was only 36. And here Phyllis was at 31, passed away as well. But the death of her mother really affected Phyllis. Her sister said that she probably took it the hardest. She was 5. She probably didn't really understand. And then when she did, but she did grow up and she wanted a family of her own. She saw what a good mother she had, and she wanted to be a good mother as well. So she did start a family, and she had 5 kids, and they were her everything.
Oh, I love that.
I know. Her daughter described her as really sweet, really fun. She said she had memories of her mom in the kitchen, like cooking and just like blasting music. And she would come in and they would like dance in the kitchen and, stuff like that while she was cooking.
Why is it always the good ones?
Yeah, it really is.
Like
Yeah.
the ones that are totally always there for you and
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
get the shit end of the stick.
100%. But unfortunately, Phyllis did not pick the best men to date. So that's kind of immediately where everybody's head went when they were trying to figure out who could have done this to Phyllis. They kind of thought, well, maybe it could be someone from her dating history or her dating like present.
Mm-hmm.
And at the crime scene, there wasn't a ton to go on. There weren't any shell casings, which means that it was a revolver that was used. But so they didn't have like shell casings to match to a gun like they can do sometimes.
But a revolver. No, never mind. I answered my own question.
Okay.
It's fine.
And then they could tell based on like where she was shot that the shooter was outside of the car and shot into the car, and they could tell that they shot into the car from the passenger side.
Oh.
And the passenger side window was down.
Oh my gosh.
They also at first thought like, well, maybe it's a robbery gone wrong, but nothing was gone. Her purse was still there. Her money was still there. The only thing that was gone was her cell phone. But
That's
if you're a
weird.
robber, yeah, you're not like immediately going after this. I mean, you might take it too, but you're also going to take like the wallet and
But that's the thing,
stuff.
right? Like, why would you very purposely take the one thing that can be tracked?
Exactly.
Yeah, it
Or
makes
see
no sense.
messages.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they quickly thought, okay, well, it's probably not a robbery gone wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Police also figured that this happened when both the gas station and the nearby restaurant was closed because no one had heard or seen anything. And you would hear 3 gunshots, right?
Yeah.
So they kind of had like, before they even had the autopsy, they kind of had a frame of reference for time. Unfortunately, while Memphis, Tennessee is a big city, they have kind of a small knit community. So even before the family was notified, it was on the news that they had found a body. The news didn't say who it was. So thankfully the family didn't have to find out that way.
Oh, but still, like you don't notify family before you put it on the news?
Well, I think the news got wind of it and put it up before the cops could get to the family. Like they were still looking at the crime scene. Oh, excuse
I
me.
hate everything about that. Like,
Yeah.
why? Like, you wouldn't want it to be you?
Right.
Like, maybe show some decency and some respect.
Yeah. Well, and they interviewed Phyllis's brother and sister and daughter in this documentary, and they were even saying like they saw that news report. They're like, but you never think it's your loved one. It didn't even cross their mind that it was anyone they knew.
Yeah, you never do.
Right, exactly. And shortly after that, the detectives did show up to let the family know that Phyllis had been murdered. Detectives asked, the basic questions. Can you think of anyone who would want to harm her? And her sister said that Phyllis and her ex had been fighting a lot lately. So maybe her ex, she did one of her children she had with this ex specifically that they were talking about. And apparently, a few months prior to Phyllis's death, there was a domestic dispute between this ex and Phyllis, and she had to call the cops because he wouldn't leave her house.
Oh, is that like a good lead? Like, it was it him?
I'm not gonna tell you right now. Hold
That's what
on,
I
we'll
want to
get to
know.
it. But they thought it was a good lead, right? They're like, okay. The daughter also said that she remembered the night prior, her mom had been getting all done up because she was going on a date with a new guy, but the daughter didn't know the name.
Mm.
And I'm sorry, not a new guy. She was going on a date with a guy, but the daughter didn't know the name because it was a newer relationship. So the detectives decided to follow up on the ex-boyfriend because that was the only one they had the name of. They went to speak with him and they told him about Phyllis's murder, and he was genuinely shocked and upset. And he did have
Aw,
a solid alibi.
that's so sad.
Yeah, he was at work, and his boss could vouch for him. And so that kind of ended up being a dead end. And he said, we had our fights, we had our differences, but she was the mother of my child. Like, I would have never done that.
Aw, poor
So
guy.
I know it was really sad too, because the daughter was talking about how, the night before when she was getting ready for her date, Phyllis's friend came over to do Phyllis's hair. And they both Phyllis and Phyllis's daughter had their hair done that same night, like just together, a little fun thing.
Aw,
And they got
that's so
twists.
cute.
I know. And they got twists done in their hair. And she said when she found out that her mom had died, she ripped all the twists out because she just couldn't deal with it and look at it.
Oh,
I know, it's really
that's
sad.
heart-wrenching.
Yeah. So, not having anywhere else to look, the police went back to the items in her car, hoping to find something. And they did. In her purse, they found a letter. And the letter was talking about how it was written to a man. And so the police pronounced his name Chancey. Phyllis's friends and family pronounced it Chauncey.
Oh, how is it spelled?
Chancy.
Yeah, that would be. I guess you could do Chauncey just without the U.
Yeah. So I'm probably gonna go back and forth.
Okay, sounds like
But
a good plan.
so this letter was written to a man named Chancey, and in it, Phyllis said that she was pregnant.
Oh no.
And was asking what he would do about it. Like, would he be okay with her keeping it? Would he want her to abort the baby? What his thoughts on it would be. But they didn't know when the letter was written. They didn't know 100% if it was written by Phyllis because it wasn't signed and they didn't have handwriting samples yet. So most likely it was written by her, it was in her purse. So
yeah,
they kind of moved on with this and they had to figure out now, okay, who is this Chancey guy?
so was she did they figure out if she was pregnant?
They did. So they had to wait for the autopsy to come back.
Yeah.
And it turned out she wasn't pregnant.
Oh, okay.
But they said, they have no idea. She may have thought she was pregnant.
Yeah, or it could have been like they said they didn't know the date. It could have been years prior and she had a miscarriage or whatever, right?
Right. Well, it couldn't have been years prior, and you'll find out why. But either way, she didn't end up being pregnant. But
rain on my freaking parade.
Rain on your parade. Sorry.
So rude.
So they call Phyllis's sister and daughter down and show the note, and they said, yeah, that's Phyllis's handwriting. So they had that at least to go on. And they asked them if they knew anybody named Chauncey, but neither of them did. Phyllis's sister did say that Phyllis was newly single and she was dating. So maybe it was someone that she had started dating that she just hadn't talked to her about yet. And they then asked if they knew Phyllis was pregnant when she was murdered. And neither of them knew that. And then obviously, like I said, they'd have to wait for the autopsy to find out if she really was, which she wasn't. So Phyllis was like, you know what? I'm going to start calling around to friends and family, because if this was someone that she knew, someone that she was dating, the story's out there and we just have to piece it together. Mm-hmm. And I'm probably going to get farther talking to friends and family than the police would.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. So she starts calling around to see if anybody knew anything about the pregnancy or anybody named Chauncey. And apparently one of Phyllis's other sisters was in the car with Phyllis the night she was murdered, but got out of the car prior to the murder happening. Apparently Phyllis was dropping her off at work. And while they were driving, Phyllis was on the phone with a guy who she was supposed to go on a date with that night. And she said that her date was with a police officer.
Oh.
Named Mr. Jones.
Mr. Jones.
Well, and at first I thought like maybe that was a code name for him because of the song, you know?
Yeah.
But it's not. So as Phyllis's sister Ophelia started talking to more and more people, she started to learn more and more. And one of Phyllis's friends said that Phyllis did mention she was going on a date with a police officer and that she really liked him.
Oh, this is not what I expected.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And Ophelia uncovered another piece of the puzzle later that afternoon when her police officer neighbor showed up at the door to say, like, I'm really sorry about what happened. Is there anything I can do for you? Mm-hmm. And he's like, you know, do they know who murdered her? And Ophelia said no, but they found this letter to some guy named Chancey. And I know that she was dating a police officer named Mr. Jones. And her neighbor said, I work with a guy named Chancey Jones.
Oh, as if they both go together.
So Ophelia immediately calls the detectives and they look up and they do have a police officer in their, not in their department, but in their precinct named Chancey Jones.
Oh, what?
Yes. And he had been on the force for about 3 years. And he was married with a child.
Yes. Whoa.
Yes.
I'm like smiling because I'm uncomfortable.
And he was the police officer that came to that domestic violence call that Phyllis had called on her ex those months ago.
What?
Yeah. So police were like, huh. And they said that they kind of waited until after the like morning rounds and pulled him aside because they didn't want the other officers to hear about it because they didn't want them interfering in any way. Mm-hmm. So they pull him in and he's like, yeah, I was the officer that got called onto that scene. I left my number. She called and we kind of started a relationship. And the officer that they were interviewing says, like, it's not professional, but it does happen.
Yeah.
So, he said that, and they said, okay, well, when was the last time you saw Phyllis? And he said, last night.
Is it his wife?
No. And then and they said it was last night and they said, okay, where? And he said, well, Phyllis called me and asked to meet me at the gas station. So we met at the gas station.
Oh, no.
He conveniently doesn't remember what they talked about, but he remembers the rest of the day just fine.
So it's this twat.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So they're like, okay, well, we found this letter to you that she's pregnant. We know that's what she wanted to talk to you about. And he was like, oh, Yeah, okay. Well, so here's what happened. He said, she said that she was pregnant. And I said, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And then we got in an argument about it. And she said, oh, well, I'm going to tell your wife. And he said, I got mad and I stormed off. And that's when I last saw her, but she was fine.
He's obviously not like a very smart cop, knowing that like very like
Yeah.
it's too
And
coincidental.
yeah. And police were like, nah,
Yeah,
that's not what happened. Then 3 hours into the interrogation, he changes his story
of course he does.
and says, okay. I'll tell you everything if I must. You see, Phyllis was trying to kill me. He said that he was trying to leave and she was revving her car and trying to hit him with her car. And so he had no choice but to shoot her 3 times.
Holy shit.
He then took her phone and her gun and threw it in the Mississippi River, which the detective was like, that's super common. Like, he's like, if you could drain the Mississippi River, there'd probably be like a billion guns in it.
Yeah, probably.
So they arrested him. And one of the quotes from one of the detectives said, we don't want it to be an officer, but it really doesn't matter. If this person did it, we'll put him in jail.
Yeah.
And then another officer said, we lead by example here. So I was, again, pretty impressed and proud of the police because, sometimes they try and hide that stuff.
Yeah, you've had three really good ones in a row.
I know.
Oh.
So he was charged with second-degree murder, which meant that he could bond out, and he did. So here's this police officer who murdered a woman in cold blood, and he's just out walking the streets.
Great.
And his trial doesn't start for another 2 years. So he's free for 2 years.
He's obviously not working though.
No.
Okay.
So they get to trial, and defense tries to pull that self-defense bullshit and saying like, oh, she tried to run him over the car. But prosecution was like, so here's the deal. She was shot through the passenger window, not through the front of the car. If you're trying to run someone over with your car, they're going to be in the front of your car, not on the side of your car.
Yeah.
And so they're like, that doesn't work. So that was kind of basically tore apart his case. Like, that's it. The jury deliberated when they brought charges to him. So at first he was charged with second-degree murder, but by the time the trial started, he was charged with first-degree murder. And
good.
The jury deliberated and they found him guilty of second-degree murder, not first degree.
Yeah, I kind of figured that's where that was going.
Yeah, well, and I can't say I disagree because, first-degree murder means premeditated.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that he had they gone home and then he went back and murdered her. Absolutely. But the fact that he did it in the moment.
Yeah, in anger.
Yeah. I think it was secondary. Either way, he's an asshole. I mean, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and either way, he's hopefully going to jail.
He did get sentenced, but he was, I don't know. I don't think this is enough time when you take a life. He was only sentenced to 24 years.
Oh, that is not enough time.
No.
Like, how do they even determine? Because I know not everybody gets 24 years just for killing one person.
But then sometimes you get life for killing one person. Yeah.
But so how do they even determine that?
There's a minimum and a maximum. And then either the jury gets to decide how many years or the judge gets to decide how many years. So that's why it's always so different.
Oh, I did not know that. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So unfortunately, he only got 24 years for stealing the life of Phyllis Malone. And from her daughter. Her daughter is now grown up and has a son.
Aw.
And she does talk about how, she wishes her mom was here to see her as a mother and be with her grandbaby and stuff like that. It's a really sad story.
That is really sad.
Yeah.
So did he ever say, oh, so it was just because of the fight they had? Okay.
Yeah, because she was going to tell, she said, well,
Yeah.
he said that she said, I was going to tell your wife, but I can also see him just panicking for the sheer fact that she was pregnant and like, shit,
Yeah.
I'm married, I'm going to kill her. And then trying to make her look bad by saying, I'm going to tell your wife and using that as an excuse to murder her. I mean, even if
Yeah.
she did say, I'm going to tell your wife, that's still not an excuse to murder her,
I mean, there's usually not a good excuse to murder.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah.
Oh my
So
God.
that is the story of Phyllis Malone's murder.
Such a good job.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so if you guys want to check out that show, Southern Gothic, it was pretty good. The reenactments weren't like awful. So
Yeah. Well, that's good.
yeah.
That's a rave review. They weren't awful.
Awful.
Oh my gosh.
All right, so let's hear about your Alaska story.
Okay. I'm excited because it's actually really, really interesting. And I apologize ahead of time. I did have our lovely listener, Ashley, who gave me this story and last week's story.
Mhm.
She vocally pronounced some of these words for me, and I've listened to them about 20 times, so I'm still probably gonna mess it up.
I remember Nantianak, but I don't remember the other one.
Nanwalek.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
All right, let's do this.
Got it together. We're all in this together. Were you ever into High School Musical?
Yeah, I mean, I watched. I wasn't like super into it because it was a little young, but I watched it and I liked it.
I loved it when I was a kid, and
Yeah.
I honestly, it's funny because we I saw this meme once. It was talking about Zac Efron, how he's always been that heartthrob in every stage of our lives.
Yes.
For us millennials.
Yes. Yeah, so it came out in 2006.
Oh my God.
And I was 2 years into college by that point.
I was in 2006.
Yeah. I graduated high school in 2004.
I think I was just about to start high school.
What year did you graduate high school?
2011.
Ew. I was done with college by then.
I'm only 28.
Oh, disgusting.
Kyle and I always joke because he's 16 years older than I am.
Yeah.
We always joke about the fact that he was getting his driver's license when I was born.
That's hilarious.
Oh. We love to torment him. Okay. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. The Pacific Northwest of America has long been the starting point for tales of Bigfoot, Sasquatch, or in the language of the present tale, the Nantianog. The town of Portlock, previously known as Port Chatham, is claimed to have been tormented by terrifying, bloody Bigfoot attacks through the first part of the 20th century.
Wait, you said that this wasn't about the Otter Man.
I don't think it is about the Otter Man.
Isn't he the Nantianak?
No, he was the Kushaka or something.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll shut up.
Please don't.
I'll be silent the rest of your story.
Make editing a breeze.
That's true.
The legend stands at the top of every list when it comes to Alaskan Bigfoot lore. So by 1949, the remaining inhabitants had had enough and they all just left.
They just left their town?
They just left.
Oh, wow.
On the shore and in the forests, you can still see its remnants today.
That's crazy.
Is that wild?
Yeah.
The ghost town of Port Chatham, which located on the Kenai Peninsula, is home to everything besides people.
Okay.
Ghosts, inexplicable deaths, and Bigfoot-like humanoids have all been reported in addition to the ghost town. The majority of the population were miners, fishermen, and lumberjacks. Nearly all were of Russian and Alaska Native ancestry. Aside from its modest but thriving enterprises, they had one little claim to fame. In 1786, British naval captain Nathaniel Portlock had docked and stocked up there. In reality, he didn't do anything of the sort.
Oh.
He actually avoided the town in further of a location nearby upstream on the Cook Inlet.
Was it at this point it had already been abandoned and was spooky?
No.
Oh, okay. He just didn't want to go
because
there.
this was like their claim to fame.
Gotcha. Okay.
And it was a lie.
Cool.
So can see how it kind of sets things up. The British Royal Navy first settled there in 1787, although it wouldn't become a permanent settlement until the early 20th century. Around the turn of the century, an American firm was drawn to Port Chatham by the quiet bay and abundant fishing, and a whole fleet of commercial fishing boats was imported. They built the Portlock Cannery, which was named for their alleged local naval hero. By 1921, the town had grown sufficiently to support a U.S. post office.
Oh, cute.
Which used the name Portlock as its official census designation.
Aw.
Did you watch the movie Klaus?
No.
Ashley.
What is it?
It's about Santa Claus.
Oh, it's a cartoon, right?
Yeah.
No, I didn't watch it, but I saw it. It was one that was on my list and I just never got to it.
It's so good.
Is it?
And I really wanted to avoid it because I'm trying to not be mainstream, I guess. I don't know, because I usually end up liking the things that other people are liking too. So I don't know what's wrong with me.
You're so weird. Are you one of those people that's like, I like the band before they were famous?
I have in a couple bands.
Oh, Jess.
I don't do it for everybody. I don't do it for everybody. I think it's like 2 bands that I've done that for. Anyways.
What a goober.
Anyways, so Klaus.
Yes.
It's about this guy, I can't even remember his name. But he gets sent to this like super remote area, and it's their first post office, and he's supposed to be like setting it up.
Oh, cute.
So it was really cute. And then he meets like Nicholas, and it's really cute.
Oh, yeah, I'll have to check it out. I love Christmas movies, so
honestly, I love it. It's so sweet, and the animation is just really beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's just a very touching story.
Oh, okay. I'll check it out.
I love it. Watch it now, because it's not even like it's a Christmas movie, but it's watch it. You love Christmas.
Yeah, I know, but it's Halloween season. And I love Halloween.
I'm so excited for Halloween. I'm actually gonna like go trick-or-treating with Evie this year, I think.
Oh, that's adorable. I'm gonna be like hella pregnant, so I'm gonna be at home handing out candy instead of waddling my ass around the neighborhood.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's a good idea. So they got their own post office. Cute. And the town has only ever been known officially as Portlock, but almost everyone, including those who were raised there, prefers to call it Port Chatham, and I don't know why.
Okay.
However, as locals left in large numbers at the beginning of the 1950s, this small village would soon become deserted. In 1951, the post office closed, ending any hopes for the hamlet to grow again.
Aww.
So why was everybody leaving?
Because they were getting murdered by Bigfoot.
There was a number of causes, but one of them was well known as the Sasquatch.
Dun, dun, dun. See, again, I like to picture my Sasquatch as a very nice gentleman or lady.
Or they be.
Or they be.
Yeah.
Yes. Very nice one.
Yeah.
And they let you pet them and kiss them on their fuzzy nose. That's my Bigfoot.
Imagine this like 10-foot like furry ass monster standing in front of you, and you just grab a fucking step stool so you can give it a kiss on its little wet nose.
Like a bear. I would love to kiss a bear's fuzzy face.
Yeah, but it's like a human face that's all hairy. It's just weird.
Yeah, I guess they're not like super cute.
No.
But the Bigfoot on the claymation Christmas movies is super cute.
Oh, he's creepy looking.
I like him.
You do you. Oh my gosh. Okay.
We are all over the place.
You are not going to like this part.
Oh no.
It was supposed to be able to rip trees out of the ground, walk on 2 feet, and be super duper strong.
Sounds like a bear, and they're adorable. But like a really strong bear.
Additionally, at the height of World War II in the 1940s, dead started coming ashore in Port Chatham.
Oh.
The fact that the bodies were mangled and appeared to have been torn to pieces was more upsetting than the simple fact they were washing up on the shore. Along with these bodies, a number of people from the area vanished and were never seen or heard from again.
Oh.
The co-founder of a group called Juneau's Hidden History, Brian Weed, has devoted a lot of effort to researching these historical accounts. One of them, in Brian's own words, goes like this, and it was a statement kind of from a logger.
Okay.
A logger was out working, and something or someone hit him over the head with a huge piece of logging equipment.
Oh.
Something that one man couldn't have lifted.
Oh.
When they found his body, there was blood on the equipment, and there was no way that one person could have done it. He was a good 10 feet from the logging equipment, so it's not like he slipped, fell, and hit his head. It looked more like someone picked it up and bonked him over the head.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's not my Bigfoot.
No.
My
It's
Bigfoot's
not your
nice.
Bigfoot. Your Bigfoot's, yeah. Additionally, it is said that the Nantianog, Nantianog? Yeah. A Sasquatch-like entity that haunted the Port Chatham shoreline was known to the local native people. So it could have been our Kushtaka.
I like him.
The village is also haunted by a strange, melancholy being. She reportedly spends most of her time in the cliffs, has an unusually white face, and frequently vanishes just as you're about to approach her.
Oh.
Another tale was discovered by Lauren Coleman and was published in the Anchorage Daily News on April 15, 1973. The author had heard the tale while spending an evening on a boat trip at English Bay. Nanwalek is what it was called.
Oh.
With the school teacher and his wife. The story covered the reason why the town left. Quote, sometime in the beginning years of World War II, rumors began to seep along the Kenai Peninsula that things were not right in Portlock. Men from the cannery town would reportedly go up into the hills to hunt Dall, sheep, and bear and never return.
Wait, hunt what?
Sheep and bear?
I thought you said dolls, sheep, and bear.
Oh yeah, it says to hunt Dall sheep.
Oh,
Dall.
Okay, like a type of sheep.
Yeah.
Okay. I was thinking dolls, and I was like, what? What the fuck is going on in this city? Like hunting dolls.
LARPing.
Oh my gosh.
Worse yet, sometimes stories would circulate about mutilated bodies that were swept down into the lagoon, torn and dismembered in
Ugh.
a way that a bear couldn't do it.
Ugh. That's not good.
While there may be legitimate explanations, such as a bear, Brian Weed told Kiny Radio or KINY Radio that something unusual was going on in this area. He said, quote, "Those people did not leave the town. We know when the town and post office shut down. We know that there are reported murders in the area. They called them murders, but they also included people that just went lost in those reports.
Oh.
We're not talking about a dozen people. We're talking like 3 dozen people. If we have a serial killer in the area at the time, they took out a lot of people in the course of 20 years.
3 dozen?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
people left because of the ongoing disappearances, the bodies, and the
Yeah.
impending legend of a malicious Sasquatch-like creature stalking the neighborhood.
Yeah, I do not blame them. That doesn't sound like a quaint little place to live.
Especially if you're just completely surrounded by forest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be terrifying.
Terrifying. Yeah.
Terrifying. Fear grew as more people departed, and soon everyone made the decision to leave. Melania Helen Kihai, a Nanwalik elder. See, I told you I'd mess it up.
Nanwalek.
Nanwalik, who is an elder who was born in Port Chatham in 1934, discussed why her hometown was abandoned in an interview with the Homer Tribune. She claims that the Nantanog, which translates to half man, half beast, so it could be your half man, half otter.
I'm gonna look him up. How you spell him?
Nantiinag.
Oh, he's scary.
Oh, is he?
He's not a pretty guy.
Oh, okay.
I still love him though. Unless he's murdering all those people, then he's naughty. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay. So the Nantanog had become a large nuisance due to terrorizing her parents, the village, and other people that were living there. She claimed that many people have shied away from the forests for a long time because they thought it would be simpler and more enjoyable to simply relocate to Port Graham.
Yeah.
According to Alaska Magazine, quote, earlier records made by Portlock Cannery Management show that the site had been vacated once before. The cannery supervisor noted in 1905 that all the native workers evacuated the area because of something in the forest, but they returned to work at the cannery the following year, unquote. Yeah. Other stories that kind of circulated go like this. So first one is a local Port Graham gold miner left for work and never returned. Tom Larson, a fisherman, observed a big hairy beast on the beach. He ran home to fetch his gun, but he let the creature go in peace. They quickly discovered a flattened patch in the brush where they suspected the big-footed animal killed the moose and took it away.
Oh.
Hunters pursuing a moose discovered that it had already been trailed by something that left 18-inch human-like tracks.
Well, and moose are huge for something to be able to take a moose out.
Yeah. Some cannery workers also went hunting in the hills but never returned. Later, one of their bodies was horribly dismembered and mutilated, and it washed up onto the shore into Port Chatham.
Oh no.
Yeah. Noopers.
You just keep trying to push words together.
My brain is faster than my mouth. Newspapers only covered.
I was wondering what 2 words you were trying to
Noopers.
That's great. I love that.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. I'm assuming that wasn't the word you thought.
No, I thought it was like you're gonna say new people
Yeah.
or something like
I
that.
think I was thinking of new people in my brain.
Yeah.
I don't know what
Newspapers
happened.
for noobers. I love that so much. I want to make a newspaper called the Nooper.
Can we? Ashley, trademark. We should like totally have a story highlight called Noopers.
Noopers.
It's just basically different like true crime and like history cutouts from the newspaper.
I love it. That's amazing.
I love Noopers.
The
Oh, we could have some stickers of the Noopers.
Noopers. Yes, I love it.
I'm into this.
Trademark.
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 Newspapers only covered one incident in all of that time, although there were undoubtedly more. In 1924, the Portlock postmaster, Mr. George H. Hank, was detained by the Prohibition Enforcement Bureau for having 1 gallon of moonshine in his possession.
Oh no.
No murders, no mutilations. This was the one newspaper article
Oh no.
from this town. So, with all of these stories, it appears that when Alaska Route 1 was finished in the 1940s along the other side of the Kenai Peninsula, it finally permitted effective communication between Anchorage and all of the other communities along the peninsula.
Oh wow.
So, did you ever see Big Fish? It reminds me of that weird ass town with that road down the middle of it in the forest.
Yeah. Oh, I love Big Fish. It's one of my favorite movies.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a good movie. It's cute.
I love Ewan McGregor. Love me some Ewan McGregor.
Love him. Totally love him. Portlock's death sentence was signed after this route got put in. These communities saw rapid growth. Ships were no longer required to feed the peninsula, and places like Portlock that were inaccessible from the highway were quickly abandoned. The small population of Portlock only had to go a short distance to find a much more convenient and affordable place to reside and run their businesses. There is still only one unpaved forest road within 10 kilometers of Port Chatham.
Oh, wow.
As a result, it appears that the village that was allegedly abandoned after a series of violent Bigfoot attacks was really abandoned for wholly uncryptozoological reasons.
Oh, well, that's not as fun.
There was only one inebriated postmaster who was probably more eager than anyone else to see his tiny post office closed, which finally occurred in 1950. There was no widespread panic evacuation. Apparently, the non-Tanog lives a very, very long time. Or is there more than one?
Yeah.
Because Extreme Expeditions Northwest's trip in 2018 used infrared cameras to capture a two-legged creature with a big head but no neck, which is just horrifying to imagine. I don't know what about not having a neck is just disgusting.
Yeah, I hate that. It's just like,
yeah. Like, what? Ugh, gross. Anyway, so big head, no neck.
Hate it.
Fantastic. Although the settlement may have been deserted, it appears that the Nontnog is still on the hunt. Some might say that avoiding this ghost town would be the right thing to do, but honestly, I'm like super curious of what might be out there. And yeah, I don't know. It's just really cool to me to think of that.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of that Western town in Supernatural where like it was the battle of the psychics. That's like all I'm picturing in my head, like a combination between that and Big Fish.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Good combo.
Yeah. So that's all that I thought about. But I got my resources, or I guess was given my resources. I can't remember. It was or a combo of the two by our listener Ashley. And it was Astonishing Legends. They did a blog about it.
Mm-hmm.
Skeptoid.com and moneyinc.com.
Ooh, that was
So,
fun. I loved that story. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Eh,
I thought it was super fun.
It was, yeah. And keeping on our Christmas talk, I have a Christmas type joke.
Oh, okay.
Why didn't Mrs. Claus get COVID?
Because she's a ho ho ho.
No,
Oh.
because she was Santa-sized. Get it like sanitized.
Oh,
Fine.
that wasn't great.
I liked it.
If you have to explain the joke, it's not a good joke.
Maybe you should just I'm just kidding. Okay, how about this one? Where do you take someone who's been injured in a peekaboo accident?
Sorry, say that again.
Where do you take someone who's been injured in a peekaboo accident?
I see you.
Yeah!
I did it. That's so funny. Oh my god, that's so funny. Oh, I was like, oh wait, I got a joke.
Why did the starfish blush?
Why did the starfish blush? I don't know.
Because it touched the ocean's bottom.
I love that so much. I have a joke.
Okay.
What do you get when Bigfoot walks in your garden?
I don't know what.
Squash.
I love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I was trying to find some really fun like Sasquatch jokes, but I can't really find any good ones.
Well, I liked that one.
What do you call a Sasquatch that makes pots?
I don't know what.
A Harry Potter.
Stupid. I like that.
Oh my god, I love that.
Oh gosh.
And
Well,
that
if
was a joke by Fisher N from Fort Dodge, Iowa.
Oh, I love it. Well, if you want more of us lovely ladies, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube.
Yeah, and if you'd like to rate and review us, you can also do that. You can do it on Spotify and Apple. We love all of our reviews. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much.
Yes. And we look forward to bringing you 2 new stories next week.
Bye.
Bye.